So yeah, that was actually kind of preempts my next question was like, can we consciousness our way out of it?
Well, the problem is what Carnival is supposed to do, unfortunately, is make cruises affordable to somebody like me, a millennial who's just in the job market. So making cruises affordable to me almost requires that of my exploitation, because how else could I spend 8 days going to the Bahamas, on a ship with that many, with like 5,000 on a floating city, yes, with a buffet? How else could I do that for about less than $5,000? Because if it was really to do that and do it consciously, I wouldn't be able to afford to go.
Right now.
Yeah,
that's true.
And so therefore, I think the part of the response is the work on people stop going. But then it almost feels like, well, we want to vacate too.
Right, exactly. That's like, you want to have the experience.
Yeah. So like, what do we do then? The best bet is to like actually go there and get an Airbnb, but then that's probably part of like, all the white people own Airbnbs in one of those places, and so you almost have to like find a Jamaican-owned booking agency, travel agent, to find you a hostel, find you a hotel, all that, right? That's another thing. I think as Americans, we have too many comfortabilities that like we need to be comfortable to travel a lot. And to travel consciously is like to stay in a hostel with like 7 people and just backpack through Europe, catch a train. And like I can just know if I was doing it with my family, it's not fit to go down. We're gonna go to one hostel with somebody having sex like 2 bunks over, and they're gonna be like, nah, we get a hotel. I need a 5-star hotel. I'm not supposed to do this with you.
Do it to him,
What about Relative Conscious? My name's Brown.
Ervin Bryant.
Shout out to DJ for making our beat.
That's at DW Made That on social media.
Follow social media.
No. At Kind and Woke on Instagram and Twitter, Relatively Conscious everywhere else. Like, subscribe, follow, share, retweet, comment, and let us know. Do you ever feel weird going on vacation, particularly in places like the Caribbean? That's the destination for people, in the US of A, Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Trinidad and Tobago, Mexico,
Jamaica,
Costa Rica, Jamaica. Thank you. All those islands, all the coastal destinations, Tulum, Cancun, where you see Honduras. What's up? Black and brown. Okay, people that look like you and I, Tony and I, doing this the service work, and it's like, it feel weird.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that?
Yeah. So my American and my blackness are clashing, as you said. Let's call it. So I just did a cruise. We went to the Bahamas. I've been on a couple cruises before. Been to Jamaica, the Grand Caymans, and then we went to Honduras, and then we've been to Cozumel a couple times. And so in most of these places, and Belize also, most of these places, Black and brown people, right? And they look just like us, a little bit dark, look just like us, right? And most of them are on an economy that thrives on tourism. They need you to spend money when you go there for tourism's sake, right? But also the tourist in me, the American in me, doesn't want to spend money on stuff I don't have to spend money on, right? So like, if somebody wants me to go into their shop, I'm going to buy something I really want to buy. If I'm getting souvenirs, I want to get the best souvenirs I feel like bringing home, and I'm just going to spend money because I ain't got like a bunch of money to spend. On a ship is mainly people who are from the Philippines or from that area of the world who work on a ship. You can tip. We can also do prepaid gratuities, which goes in a pot. They don't get as much as that. But like if I tip every time I got a drink, that's a lot of money. But they go out their way to give you the best customer service possible, because the whole cruise experience is supposed to be, everything was given to you, basically. They don't ever say no to you, almost. And so basically it's the feeling of, I don't know how to, what's the feeling is of taking advantage of people, or I feel bad because I know they need me to spend money, but the other half of me doesn't want to spend money on stuff that I don't feel like it's necessary for me to spend money on. And so those two things are clashing with each other. It's like if this woman wanted to buy some necklaces she had, and I was like, I don't want to spend on these necklaces. But she was like an older woman. She was like in her 40s, 50s. And I'm like, she comes out here to this beach every day and she requires people to spend money on these necklaces to buy them so she can, make money. And I'm like, well, I don't know how I feel about that because I don't really want a necklace, but I don't want to just turn her down and walk away from her,
Wow.
And that's the issue that comes in, how do you and that's what feels weird about vacationing, cruising while Black. Because I feel like if I was I don't know, if I was white and didn't care, I could just kind of walk past and be like, okay, yes, I'm on a vacation. That's your job. But I don't want to deal with this, so I'm gonna keep going. But I'm like, I know that person needs me to eat, and the only reason why she needs me to eat is because of colonialism and the fact that her whole island is based on economy. That if it wasn't for colonial followers, they used the word, I guess the correct term would be raping the land of any resources, they won't be forced to do that.
Yeah. And it's crazy because well, the whole I don't like when people do that. People love to be like, they raped us. Like, bro, relax. Wrong word. No, it's not that serious. I mean, it's that serious, but it's not that. Can we just use appropriate language? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not that, but like Haiti, for real though.
Look. Here's my point. Okay. Worse than that is my pastor's wife is from the Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
And both my pastor and Sister Arlene Moore and Pastor Moore, they pointed out to me that like it's kind of wild when you go over there. I've never been over there. I've never been to any of these places. Partly because of my pocket's sake. Okay, capitalism is keeping me out. It's doing its job. But at the same time, I don't really want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the cruise ship kind of way. That's never been my vibe anyway. But the thought of that dilemma disgusts me. Yeah. The dilemma that you're proposing, I understand entirely. I'm not, your thinking is not disgusting, but like that situation, I'm like, oh no, can't be me, because part of that struggle that lady experiences on the beach, selling whatever, and then there's millions of her in this life, in this world, is because the land ownership in places like the Virgin Islands, Jamaica, coastal places in Africa, wherever, is not within the hands of Jamaicans.
Yeah.
And if it is in the hands of Jamaicans, if it is in the hands of Hondurans, it's not the ones that look like you and I.
Yeah.
And that is a true like leftover of colonialism. So like not even on, you're not even blaming like Hernan Cortez and Christopher Columbus. Like it's not even that deep. It's like Bain Capital, has like invested in this resort over here and will keep it over their dead body, or rather their dead bodies of locals whenever they pay off the local government, and they're killing all the protesters and dissidents. Got real dark real fast, but
yeah,
that's the reality of it. Is like I want to participate in the beauty of this land. I want to go and see the world, Jamaican culture, Caribbean culture, African culture, Central American culture. Wow, amazing. What people, what beauty, music. It's a great time. People go there for a reason.
Yeah.
But I don't want to participate in the exploitation. But it's like, how that's the dilemma. How do I show love to these people and experience this human experience, but not sponsor all this exploitation? And by tipping generously. Mansa Musa roll through and just create rampant inflation by throwing money at everybody.
But none of us are packing that much money.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you ain't got it, I ain't got it.
Yeah. It's like if I was like, I don't know, if I was like 50, because it was like an old white man who just passing out 20s like he was in the mafia. If I was like that, I guess I would feel much better about it. And I guess maybe that's a way to deal with his guilt. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm about to say something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
In Belize, we can see that too, because we went on we saw sharks and stingrays, and Belize went swimming with sharks and stingrays off of the coastal of the coral reef, and it's expensive excursion. It was like $100+ per person, but the money we spend there goes directly to helping the coral reef, and it goes to help to local economy. And they need us to come back because the more money we spend, the more it goes to ocean preservation and other things like that. But also the person who's in charge of taking people out there, he's from basically the Spanish descendants, right? But the more native looking people are ones that's doing the dirty work. Does that make sense?
That's I mean, just darker.
Dark.
Plainly.
Yeah.
Make it real simple.
In Jamaica, but Jamaica, same way. I was like the guy who was our tour on it was like a raft tour through the lake, basically up a mountain through a lake. And he was like, this is some of the best work we can do. You know, instead of working in the factory, this is some of the best we can do. We get paid a lot of money to do this, basically, from the tips that they make American money. And he was like, I need y'all to keep coming back because we need the money, basically, we need the tips. And I was like, well, what else they got out here? And he was like, either you work the fields, work the factory job, you work for the Chinese, or you do this, which is when you have the best of your schedule and your time, basically, you know, and you can make the most amount of money because people may tip you more. And I like with this, because like if I stop going, you know, I guess others would go in my place. But if we were to stop going, it would be a huge detriment to their economy, you know, because the economy is based off of tourism. And so it feels weird to like not going may not be the answer because there's nothing else they could turn to.
It isn't. It really isn't the answer.
It's like poaching in Africa almost. Like it's like those safaris in Africa that use the money that people spend going big game hunting to stop poaching. And it feels very weird that like
it's like, well, we want you to shoot a controlled amount of lions.
Yeah. It's like going to shoot lions helps protect lions. And like, what? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty solid analogy. So yeah, that was actually kind of preempts my next question was like, can we consciousness our way out of this? Because you know, I think the internet, shout out the internet for like overinflating the presence of woke quote unquote millennials and Gen Z. I really, when it comes to certain issues, when it comes to like racial equality, gender equality, I think that's the internet accurately represents a changing attitude. A lot of people are like, you know, cut out the BS, let everybody, you know, participate equally in America. But when it comes to things like economic exploitation of people overseas, I do not think that the internet accurately represents our disdain for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We as an American people enjoy the luxury more than we care about other folks. And so I arrive finally at my question. Is this something we can consciousness our way out of? Because there are some trades, some practices, some, you know, products that we no longer indulge in because of the harm and damage that it does to others. Or at least we've changed the optics about those things.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you know, they in a nice sweatshop now, or, you know, made in America, or, you know what I'm saying? Like some kind of twist on it to make it a sustainability. Hold up. Fair trade, you know. There's often some kind of sleight of hand with all that PR that companies are doing to try to make it look like they're not exploiting people or the environment. But we don't even try to do that with vacation. There are those new businesses that do, but when it comes to like Carnival, Royal Caribbean, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, the problem is what Carnival is supposed to do, unfortunately, is make cruises affordable to somebody like me, a millennial who's just in the job market. So making cruises affordable to me almost requires that of my exploitation, because how else could I spend 8 days going to the Bahamas, you know, on a ship with like 5,000 on a floating city with a buffet? How else could I do that for about less than $5,000? $5,000 basically for me and her to go and our baby to go. How else could I do that if not for exploitation? You know, because if it was really to do that and do it consciously, I wouldn't be able to afford to go.
Straight up.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so therefore, I think the probably the response is lower income people stop going. But then it almost feels like, well, we want to vacate too. You know,
exactly. That's like you want to have the experience.
Yeah. So like, what do we do then? You know, the best bet is to like actually go there and get an Airbnb, but then that's probably part of like, well, all the white people own Airbnbs in one of those places, you know, and so you almost have to like find a Jamaican-owned booking agency, travel agent to find you a hostel, find you a hotel, and do all that, right? But the other side of it is, well, I would probably feel okay with doing that and feel safe, feel fine, because it's our people. Other people don't look like us will find it to be sketchy and scary. That's the other half of it, is that going through Carnival, going through these, going to Sandoz, like Sandoz and Cozumel is like gated off. It's its own thing. There's no way the cartel is getting in there, basically. And so that's that added security that people can feel okay with going to do that, right? That's why they can feel okay going to Mexico, because they have
on the resort.
They can stay at a resort, basically.
I'm basically staying in a pocket of America.
Yeah,
in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah, and if they didn't have that, I just wouldn't go. I would think it's too dangerous and wouldn't go, so people couldn't make any money, basically. And then they would have to turn to the very cartel. Also they like Sandoz. I probably would never do Sandoz because they do white glove service. And obviously have me have a Jamaican person doing white glove service for me. That's just too far. But the other answer is like traveling to Europe is probably where you like do this the least. Even though going to France is mainly Muslim people who are doing the service there. Or you travel to England, or it's African people who are doing the service there. That's a whole nother issue. If you go to Western Europe, is Eastern Europe, or Dirty Europe, as they call it, Eastern Europe.
Yeah, Eastern Europe. I love it. You like, just to make it clear, I'm talking about the dirty part.
Well, it's considered to be the part people don't want to go to, right? Czechoslovakia, right. Romania, was Ukraine. What's the capital? Ukraine was considered to be a beautiful place to go to. Lithuania, Estonia, they're doing less of that, but it's more expensive. The flights are long, $1,000, so most of us can't even make it over there. Thailand, you're doing the same issue in Thailand, where the government has basically just given its people out to slaughter in the way that it allows them to make so little money off of what goes on there, and then China wants you to come and is okay with exploiting people for you to come there. They want you to go on vacation in China, and they will exploit their own people. You ain't got to worry about it. I'll take care of
it. That's shockingly real. Yeah.
Yeah. Japan probably do this a lot less, but Japan is so expensive to travel to. And that's kind of where the consciousness comes in. It's like, well, to go to places where you do with less of this is more expensive, and you can't afford it, basically.
Yeah.
And so therefore,
you've been trying to travel on a budget the whole time.
Yeah, I've been trying to travel on a budget the whole time. And so like you're stuck with going into Texas, going somewhere in Texas, basically, or even Disneyland is almost more expensive than the average family can afford and be okay with, because Disneyland is expensive,
Yes,
it's ridiculous. Yeah. And so I don't even know. I don't like a lot of people do these. They travel in vans. That's their response. I'm not trying to do that. I need to take a shower. I'm sorry. That's another thing. I think as Americans, we have too many comfortabilities that we need to be comfortable to travel a lot, and to travel consciously is like to stay in a hostel with like 7 people and just backpack through Europe, catch a train, and like I can just know if I was doing it with my family, it's not fit to go down. We're gonna go to one hostel with somebody having sex like 2 bunks over, and they're gonna be like, nah, we need to get a hotel. I need a 5-star hotel. I'm not supposed to do this with you. Yeah, and that's another issue that kind of like makes it like really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the response is we don't travel, and then like, well, what am I supposed to do? I go to work every day, 9 to 5. I don't want, I need something to break the mind. How do you deal with it besides not traveling? I guess
the fact that like the sandals is like a big privately owned U.S. embassy, and that I'm not actually in Jamaica, but I'm actually on U.S. soil, not legally, but the experience is that. Then like I'm not interested in that at all.
Yeah,
because I want to go to Jamaica. I don't want to go to sandals. That's weird. So yeah, I'm the whole like, oh, let me contact the local folk and set it up and do all that. I'm far more interested in that. Like to me, it seems worth the effort and money, but I don't have right now. I'm just not going, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if and when, absolutely. Or and my real solution is, and I feel like a genius, but I also feel like an idiot for the solution is to work over there.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm going to Southern Africa for a couple years anyway, and I'm going to be living there. So that's that. And after that 2 years is up, come back to the States or don't. I don't know. That's 2 years away, but I feel like the most sustainable way to do that, and this is not an option for everybody, but you asked,
Yeah.
is to try to engage. And people do mission work all over the world and volunteer and you do humanitarian work, stuff like that. Or just travel for like their international commercial jobs.
Yeah.
And just set up their life around like actually engaging with people, either different people across the United States, across North America, or across the world. That's what I'm trying to set up. So I can, eventually I want to just chill out in Texas. But, I'm 25. So for now, I'm hopping a plane over to the other hemisphere and seeing what life is like in a more grounded way, where I work every day with these people and try to actually improve their condition.
Yeah, when I was in Lithuania, that's the only way I could go to Europe was to actually like do work there, basically put on church camps. Feel like you will, but missionaries. Though I don't know, feel like putting church camps on for kids is not as egregious as some missionaries be doing. They be taking them pictures when kids be killing.
Yeah, not all missionary work is created equal, but honestly, I don't know. People be mad at them, and I'm like, it's not a resort.
Yeah, it's like
and it's a lot of it's, if not all of it, it's philanthropically funded. So like,
Yeah. So like one missionary trip they used to do was they used to build they used to help out a orphanage in Honduras, basically. And they would take that picture with, there was a couple girls I know who took the picture with the kids. And I was like, part of me wants to be like, I don't like this. Part was also like, they went for like 2 weeks to go help out in an orphanage. And like, I know people want to be like, well, do more than that. But like, they're 18. And so like, how much more do you want them to do besides?
Well, I can make a strong argument that 18-year-olds have, American 18-year-olds, they got the time and money.
I mean, besides like
white American 18-year-olds.
Besides like join the Peace Corps, but only so many can qualify to do that.
No, I mean that's the point. That's not the point of missionary work. But Peace Corps is a particular institution.
Yeah.
Right? But mission work, the requirement's less of you being this upright, outstanding member of society. It's more about you believing in the faith and putting a dedication behind your commitment to these principles. So it's supposed to be more, far more open than the Peace Corps.
Yeah. Also, the one part is like Mormons do it, and their whole issue is like, well, how the whole faith is my problem. Like, okay,
I don't know what they doing over there. Y'all don't even like black people. I don't know what y'all doing now.
The last little bit I want to talk about. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know, I'm going to keep this in the show. White people enjoying Caribbean or like island culture always just feels so.
It just looks wrong. It
just looks wrong. It just like they get their hair braided. It's been $127 to get their whole hair braided, and like a bohemian style
hustle, by the way.
Well,
that's how much paid.
That much it's cost to braid your hair here. So we'll do a whole head the same price.
But that's the conversion rate is going crazy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so they're doing $127 American.
And I'm sure any hair braider, when a white woman come in there, like, oh, too easy.
Yeah, and so they'll braid their hair. You put some beads in it. They go dancing around to their music and getting drunk. And I'm like, I know they're spending money. I know this is the best outcome that they spend
from
money.
This current situation as it looks.
Yeah, from this current situation, yeah, that they spend money, get drunk, enjoy their time because they'll come back and do it again. But it just looks disgusting from the outside looking at it. I'm just like,
it is. That's why I say it's disgusting. That's the word I used.
Yeah,
because it really feels like a repeat of a colonial situation where like the queen is, this is hyperbole.
Yeah,
the Queen of England has come to our humble country, our humble village, and so let's get all of our black people who every other day, any other situation, do not care about her, are not concerned with her happiness. We're concerned with doing our own thing, have our own culture, our own history, religion, life. and it all centers now around her and her experience, and we're giving her like, oh, this is our cool. Yes, do enjoy it.
Yeah.
It ain't for you, Karen. It ain't for Becky. It's not for Susan. It's not for none of y'all. And everybody gotta live. Hey, and I'm saying us. It's not really us. People look like me, but I'm not Jamaican. But it just feels a little painful. It feels like as if, and we'd never do this. But like, say, I go to a 120 some odd year old church. True Life Missionary Baptist Church is very old.
Yeah.
Black Southern Baptist Church, super old, lit, love the people. And if white people come on occasion, but that's like if a white person came in and we was like, oh, let's make way. It's like this bastion of Black American culture is not for you. Now you can come in and enjoy.
Yeah.
We're not about to change our behaviors because of your presence, but in the third world, quote unquote, that's what we gotta do, and I absolutely hate it.
My name is Thomas Brown.
Ervin Bryant.
Peace.
Do it to 'em, D.